Hi, and welcome to the Comfy Red Couch. My name is Tracy, and I am your host. And today I am coming to you from a sunny day in Toronto, where I'm inside, and I actually want to be doing a few things outside, so I'm going to try and see if I can get through the podcast quickly. Then I'm going to go out and do the task that I want to do, and then I'll come back in and edit. So I'm hoping to decorate an oak tree that we have outside. It's just a small oak tree, although it has grown a lot since we've moved here. But I just want to put some Christmas bulbs on it and make it look a little bit festive. So I'm hoping to get that done today. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, as I said, welcome to the podcast. I am Tracy, and you can find me as Tracy RR on Ravelry, and I am Comfy Red Couch on Instagram. And today I did something a little bit scary, crazy, totally cuckoo. I started to join into Vlogmas 2017. So I've already filmed and uploaded a little mini podcast for the morning, and just a very simple one, although I did have a little bit of difficulty with some editing. I was wanting to add some music in, and it was a bit of a challenge, but I got it done. It is uploaded, and if you have a chance, I'm hoping that maybe you'll have a moment to sit down, just check out what I do, my typical Sunday morning. And Scout features a little bit in it as well, which is kind of nice. For anyone who is new to the podcast, welcome. I always encourage everybody to grab a cup of tea or coffee or whatever and grab your project bag of choice and join us on the Comfy Red Couch as we talk about knitting and fun things like that. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I love having you here every week. And go get that tea, go get that project bag, and let's get started with the podcast, and of course with some tea time. Last week on tea time, I told you that I had a very special mug that I was going to share this week, and this is it. And this is my Julia Smith ceramic mug, and I've got the light sort of sunshine filtering in, hitting my mug, and but this is my lovely Julia Smith ceramic mug. And I normally would hold it this way and drink, but that's no fun because, of course, everybody wants to see the cute little dog with antlers, sort of like Scout with antlers. So before I take a sip, cheers. And you may say, Tracy, what are you drinking? You've got a beautiful special mug. And I'm going to tell you, I'm just wimping out today, and I am drinking the Marks & Spencer extra strong black tea because I have my David's Tea Advent to get through later, and I did take a little peek at it, and it's not so caffeinated, and I need a little bit of caffeine today. So I'm drinking my caffeine tea, and just a nice little black tea. I enjoy it very much. Anyway, I'm going to drink a little bit of tea, and then we're going to get started on the podcast. On my favorite things this week, I have a finished object to share with you, and I have a half-finished object to share with you. And I'm going to start off with that one. So this is in my Fun Peanuts Christmas bag, and this was by DNA Designs, and I just love the pull, and I got a few compliments on it when I took it to work with me this week. And last week, when I showed the Tchaikovsky hat and mitt set, I had 49 grams and 50 grams left of my Nora George yarns, The Fire is So Delightful. And so I thought to myself, well, maybe this is enough to do a leg warmer, because of course I knew what the pattern was for Isaac. So one with the 49, one with the 50, and then that would match his Tchaikovsky hat and mitts, which he quickly grabbed from me when I was editing last week's podcast. He was just thrilled to have it. So when I said, well, I might have enough to do some leg warmers, would you like them? He was all over that. And here is the half finished object, and it is definitely not big enough for a 16-year-old boy. However, it is big enough for Nathaniel, who is 8. So Nathaniel is going to get these lovely The Fire is So Delightful leg warmers. Now I did change this pattern a little bit from the original pattern. I used bigger needles because I was thinking it was going to be for Isaac and I wanted to speed through them quickly. And I was also using a DK weight yarn as compared to the sport weight, which I'd used on the other pair. And up here, this is the bottom, I think. I used a 3.5 millimeter needle, and then here I used the 4 millimeter needle. And it's still kind of small. Fits Nathaniel perfectly, which is great. Another way, if you don't want to use these as leg warmers, they are great for wrist warmers, by the way. So anyway, one is done. I have the yarn to start the second one. And as I said, these will be gifted to Nathaniel, maybe for Christmas, maybe earlier. We'll see. Depends on how the weather is, I guess, in Toronto. If it gets really super cold, maybe he'll need them earlier. So that is my half-finished object. Let's go on to my finished object because they're along the same lines. And these are the marzipan leg warmers, and these are what I made for my niece. I played yarn chicken and I lost, but I modified so that I was able to win. So I used the Diamond Highlander yarn, and I showed the skein last week. But, and they're really, really pretty, just a blue, it's got little almost pinky purple flecks in it. And what I ended up doing was I took one repeat out of both leg warmers in order to have enough yardage. And one of my leg warmers, the ribbing, I think right here, I think my ribbing here has 2 less rounds of ribbing, because I was not going to pull them all back and figure out how to make them. So they are adorable. This was 49 grams starting weight of yarn, or this is 49 grams weight. I thought I had 50 grams, but I may have had 49. So I was a little bit worried about the yardage. I did use the recommended needle size. This is toddler. These will be going to my niece for her birthday. So I'm not sure whether it was just my gauge, but I wouldn't have had quite enough yarn. So I made it work though, and I do love them. They are really, really sweet. Nathaniel modeled them for me for my Instagram shots and my Ravelry shots, and he was just adorable in them. So I'm very happy he's going to be getting the Fire is So Delightful ones. For Isaac, I'm going to still make him a pair of leg warmers. I'm going to use Nora George Yarn's Great White colorway, and I've got 2 skeins of that. So I don't think I will run short on yarn for that one. I might have some extra left over, which is always okay. And he'll be happy probably having a nice blue and white pair of leg warmers. So he's happy about that. The next thing I'm going to talk about is Knit Vent 6. And Knit Vent 6 is in my beautiful bag from Elm Tree Yarns. And I've shown this bag, I've hugged this bag, I love this bag. And inside is the project that will be released this Thursday. I'm not quite done yet, I'm getting close. I have made some modifications to the pattern, so everyone will love Helen's sample. Mine will be a little bit different. I am using a different yarn, a lighter weight yarn than she is. Not much, but enough. I'm holding it double as well with some mohair, and I do get to share my yarn in a moment. So I will share that momentarily, but I am making my project a little bit bigger with the blessing of Helen. So, and I'll talk about all the changes that I have made because I am loving what I'm doing. On Friday night, I had made a choice in making it bigger that I did not like. So I ripped out about 30 rows of knitting, and that was, but I'm much happier with how it's going now. So in this bag, there are 2 wonderful types of yarn that I'm using. So I have used this yarn before, and this is the Juniper Moon Farms Harriet Great, and I don't think it has, oh, it does have a color. It's called Verbena. So I always thought Verbena was yellow, but this one is pink, and I am holding it double with viola mohair. So the pink and brown combination, and let me just put that down so that maybe I can do some close-ups. And unfortunately, the way my lighting is, I usually film earlier in the day, but because I did Vlogmas, it's a little bit later. So it's sort of like a pink with a bit of a chocolate brown, and I'm actually naming my project "You Can Dress Me Up, But You Can't Take Me Out," because I'm wearing this beautiful pink, and then I've gone and spilt chocolate all over it. So, or tea in my case is usually tea and chocolate. Anyway, so I'm holding them double. It is knitting up so fluffy, and it's going to be so warm. I am so looking forward to, can I say so any more times? But when you see this all knit up on Thursday, and since I'm doing Vlogmas, I might actually be able to show it a little bit earlier than my normal podcast. I hope you're going to love it. I know I am. And I know that Helen's sample is absolutely wonderful. And I'm looking forward to seeing Deb's sample as well. I'm sure it will be completely gorgeous because Deb's work is always gorgeous. That's Tink Hickman. And anyway, so this is the yarn. It is super fluffy. It's been going up my nose as I've been knitting. And I'm really looking forward to sharing with this one with you as the week progresses. So for now, it stays in here, and I'm hoping to finish it. If I don't finish it tonight, tomorrow night, and then I've got to, of course, get it blocked and ready for photographs, and then we'll get it out on Thursday. And for my favorite things, that's all I've got to share with you this week. The other projects are either in hibernation or I can't share them with you. So that's where we'll end it, with Advent 6 coming out on Thursday, and I'm so excited about that. And it is time to drink some tea as I quickly tell you about the Spirit of Autumn Knit Along. It is now December. I am starting to panic because, of course, my Spirit of Autumn Knit Along has not seen work since the very first day I cast on, which was October 1st, and it is now December 3rd. So I am hoping once I get Knitvent and everything else that needs to be done out of the way, that my focus will be on my Oracle shawl. So it is not too late to join in the Spirit of Autumn Knit Along because obviously I have hardly had a start on it. So if I can do it, I'm sure you can do it too. I hope so. Anyway, the Spirit of Autumn Knit Along is a knit along that is running from October 1st until December 20th, so the last full day of autumn. And you may join in if you are knitting either the Oracle shawl, the Oracle half pie shawl, or another magically themed shawl that is 2 to 3 skeins. A couple of weeks ago, someone asked me if they could use a lace weight yarn, and it was a really great yardage, like 700 meters. Absolutely. That's about the equivalent, I would say, of 2 or 3 skeins of regular fingering weight yarn. So yeah, of course, absolutely join in. If you've got some long lace weight yarn that you would love to put into a project, definitely you should join in and knit along with us. And there are 3 fabulous prizes. And next week, once I've sort of got things settled, I'll show them again, or I'll show the 2 that I have. And one is from Cauldron of Colors. Sarah has dyed up a beautiful skein of the Spirit of Autumn. That was a custom colorway for this knit along. And there is a lovely skein of Boo Radley by Nora George Yarns. There will be some lovely little gifts that are thrown in there as well for the 2 winners of those 2 prizes. Danny of Little Bobbins is also going to be making a beautiful bag for the Spirit of Autumn Knit Along, and she is my co-conspirator on this knit along, and she's sort of quiet in the wings, and so she will be sending that out from her end, so I will only get to see pictures of it, but I'm really excited to see what it's looking like. If you know of any other knit-alongs that have similar parameters as the Spirit of Autumn knit-along, you are welcome to double dip for sure. And if you happen to have a lot of knitting time, which unfortunately I don't have as much anymore, you are definitely welcome to enter more than one time. So if you have 2 finished objects, enter both of them. So always a great way to increase your chances of winning one of those 3 fabulous prizes. I think that's all I'm going to say about the Spirit of Autumn Knit Along this week. I'm hoping next week to really spend a little bit more quality time and actually show you some progress, because I've got to get mine done. And I've got less than 20 days, so I better hop to it. Anyway, Spirit of Autumn Knit Along, and let's move on to brown paper packages. This week, I do have some things to share on brown paper packages, and I'm also going to share my Advent calendars, because rather than have its own little section, I will share what my Advent calendars are, and because it's the 3rd of December today, what I will do is share what I got the past couple of days. In the future, what I will do is just put them either on Instagram or include them in my Vlogmas videos, depending on what's happening. But I won't do a full recap of everything each week because it's a little bit much. So there will be some spoilers. And it was kind of funny yesterday because Isaac and I were driving down to local plaza because we had to pick up some things and go to the bank and do a few different things. And I started talking about yesterday's David's tea, and I told him what the name was. And he said, "Mom, you didn't give me a spoiler alert." And here I was at the wheel. So I couldn't do the spoiler alert. So, but yeah, I did spoil yesterday's tea for him. So I will try and make sure I put lots of spoiler alerts in for you today. So let's start off with what my Advent calendars are. And I did get 3 Advent calendars, and I have to say, I'm really enjoying them. They're so much fun. There's a little surprise each day. And I love it because often what happens is around Christmas time, being the mom, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, you know what you're getting for Christmas because you've probably picked it out, wrapped it up for yourself, and given it to yourself. And there's very few surprises under the tree. So I am loving the Advents because each day, even though I know what the theme is, I have no idea what's in there. So one of my Advents is my So Sweet Violet bag. So inside this bag, and there's not going to be many spoilers at this point, are a bunch of little packages, and they're wrapped beautifully, and they have whatever the day is on them, and there's some lovely little things. So I'm trying not to peek, and I will not use the bag until I'm finished all of my emptying because it's very easy to keep everything in there. So this is a gorgeous bag by Jules, and I am so, so lucky that I was able to get this when it was first released. So loving this, and so much fun to just sort of peek in every day, find the envelope I need, and open it up. So this is one of the big parts of my Advent. And so today I have this lovely little package that we're going to unwrap in a few moments. My other Advent is the Nora George Yarns box, and it is a lovely little box. And let me grab my Advents actually. What I've been doing with my Advents is I have this basket, and I actually keep all of my Advents in this basket. Then I go and I get them out, and I'm ready to then open my Advent treat every day. So I have shown this before. This is my David's Tea Advent. I've pulled out number 3 because I've got it with me, and 1 and 2 are both gone. So that's my David's Tea Advent, and I've been seeing lots of those pop up on Instagram. My Nora George is in this gorgeous box, which just flips open, and underneath the polka dots there are little treat bags, and there is a big skein of yarn in there. So that will of course be for the end of the month. So I've been very good about staying true to opening them up only one day at a time. So as I said, my 3 Advents go in this basket, and then I go and get them when I'm ready to open. And here is number 3 for So Sweet Violet. Here is number 3 for my Nora George. And, whoops, that popped out. And here is number 3 for my David. So let's start off, and spoiler alert, David's tea, and I did take a peek earlier, and it's not caffeinated. This is strawberry rhubarb parfait, and inside is enough for about 2 cups of tea if you're just doing cups, or you could probably just put that in a basket and put it in a pot. So my princess pot that I have sometimes used on the podcast, this would be perfect to pop in there, and tea all around for everybody. So I did buy the boys one that they share, so at nighttime, what we've been doing the past couple of nights, and yesterday it was afternoon, we get our little cups, because they each have their own lovely little cup, and I make them a cup of tea, I make me a cup of tea, and then we sit down and enjoy our tea. And Isaac's former grade 3, 5, and 6 teacher, he had the most amazing teacher and was so lucky to have her for each of those years. We were on the phone yesterday just sort of having a little conversation about the tea and what we thought of it. And yesterday, spoiler alert, and I'm going to tell you all the ones. So here we go. Spoiler alert. Let's do this officially. So yesterday was chocolate macaroon, and it was really tasty. I'm not a huge fan of coconut, but it was really quite nice. And the day before was Let It Snow. So I liked both of them, and I really think I did like chocolate macaroon a little bit more. And Isaac's former teacher, Julie, she liked both of them. And again, she liked the macaroon better than the Let It Snow. Nathaniel left his Let It Snow behind, so I think he didn't love it as much as he liked his chocolate macaroon, which was gone in no time. He put a little bit of ice in it as well. And Isaac enjoyed drinking both of them. So today, strawberry rhubarb parfait, and I will just do a little bit of texting with Julie, because we've decided that we're going to just check in with each other every day to see what we thought of the David's tea. So that will be a little bit later on today. So for now, caffeinated Marks & Spencer, and then I will have my strawberry rhubarb parfait when the boys get home, and probably while I'm editing the podcast. So this is my lovely So Sweet Violet. So spoiler, if you have a So Sweet Violet and you haven't opened your number 3, look how beautifully wrapped it is. It's got this beautiful little stamped tag on it, and ribbons and parcels, always so lovely. And I don't know, I can never find beautiful tissue paper like this, but I think it's only in Britain. They have the loveliest paper supplies and things like that. Oh, I see something fabric-y. A beautiful Notions pouch. Beautiful. And of course, it coordinates perfectly with my bag. And inside, look at that beautiful lining. Oh my goodness. So adorable. So adorable. So, the problem with opening this live is that I don't really fully get to experience the full joy, but Jules has done an amazing job with this. So exciting. I can't wait to really sit down and figure out what I'm going to put in it. And then the final Advent calendar parcel of the day is my Nora George yarns. It was funny because yesterday, and I'll quickly show you the previous 2, and I'll show you also, so yesterday for my So Sweet Violet, we're still in spoiler alert, by the way, there was this really cute fuzzy, it's like a little furry fuzzy progress keeper, and I've put it on a bag, and I'm going to talk about that bag a little bit later in brown paper packages. And the very first day, I got this lovely lavender sachet from So Sweet Violet. It smells so pretty, and look, it matches. always a nice thing. And then, as I said, I got the 2 teas. My first Nora George Advent yarn. Now, the interesting thing is with the Nora George Advent yarns is not everybody gets the same colorway on the same days. So if you are getting a Nora George Advent calendar and you don't want to see any of the other colors, look away, look away. And I don't know what the name of this one is, but this was my December 1st skein. And just love, love, love. And it's pink. I didn't want to say pink, but because of course it's spoiler alert time. But I hope you're out of earshot if you were not wanting a spoiler. Anyway, the next one, it was funny because yesterday you can sort of see through the white paper bag as you're picking it up what color it might be. And I thought, oh, it's yellow. It was not yellow. It was lime green. And I love lime green. Don't love yellow. And it was funny because I made a comment to Tracy and she said as she was making these, she thought about trying to reduce the yellow because of me, which I thought that was really funny. Anyway, so beautiful green, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my minis. I've thought of, where is the pink one? On my lap. I've thought of doing, oh my gosh, look at those together. Love. I've thought about doing either socks, and because there's about 20 grams of each mini, that is lots and lots of minis, and I could make several pairs of socks, so scrappy socks. Or there is this blanket I've had my eye on. It's called the Bits and Bobs blanket, which perfect for this podcast. And it looks like brioche, but it's not brioche. So I might do the Bits and Bobs blanket. I might do socks. I'm not 100% sure yet what I'm going to do, but I definitely have to remember which order these come. So Instagram is being great for recording the days because I want to put them in the order. And of course I've already done a Land of Sweets cowl, and I don't think I'm going to do another one in minis. I really liked how I spread it out with a big full one. So if I do another one, it'll probably be a mini set and a skein again like I did my sample, my test knit. So these are day 1, day 2 of December, and we're now going to open up number 3 with a cute little heart sticker. And I can't even see what kind of color it might be today. Just the lighting's really bad in here today. Oh, pretty. Blue. Oh my gosh, look at that. Pink, blues, purples. See, I don't really get to fully comprehend it or take it in when I'm podcasting, but you get the full joy at that point, at least in the podcast. But look at those colors with the blue. Tracy, that is gorgeous. Whoop, and then of course I slip. So, oh my goodness. Gorgeous. So that is a bit of a spoiler alert there, and I'm so happy I get to sit down later and really, really look at them, and I'm looking forward to that. So that is my Advent time, and I will open the Advent again next Sunday, just the 3, and share them with you, and I'll do the whole spoiler thing too. I think that's probably what I'll do for the Advent season. And as I said, if you want to see what I'm getting during the week, either Instagram, or if I'm able to get a Vlogmas video up every day, I'll put it on there. So anyway, let's move on to some of the other things that I did get. And this is where I am storing my little minis. And is this not the most adorable bag? And this is by Nikki's Notables. And Nikki has just opened her Etsy shop, and this was the first online purchase. I saw these little teapots and I had to have them. So inside, lovely polka dots, And of course, lovely yarn starting to go in there too. And on the side, there's a fun little tag. I should get a carabiner and pop it in there so I can attach it to something, because I do like to have a bit of a handle. And there's this really cute little teapot pull on the top and blue zipper, but just adorable fabric. This cute little owl teapot. And so I was able to get that from Nikki's Notables. And Nikki is, I think, Nikki Merkt. I'm not sure if I pronounced that properly. On Instagram, I'll put it down below. So she has just opened her own Etsy shop, so good luck with that. And I know I am loving this. And there's these cute little tags that Nikki has. They're sort of like a wooden tag that she's sewn on the front as well. So that was one of the things that I got in brown paper packages this week. I have been on a real bag tear the past little while. I put myself on a yarn diet and then I went crazy over bags. But Busy Pottering had a couple of cute little items that I could not resist. And I already have the Busy Pottering hedgehog bag, which is gorgeous. I showed that a few episodes back. I did share this already today. This is the So Sweet Violet Advent-ure from yesterday that I've put on the pull for the zipper. And this is from Busy Pottering, and it's just a cute little French pastries bag. It's a sock size. It's really nicely padded and squishy, and it's got a lovely little lining inside. So definitely a nice squishy padded bag, which is always great so you don't have your needles poke out at you. So I did pick this up because I don't like to let things travel alone. And this gorgeous bag, the Robin bag, was, and this is the same style as my hedgehog bag that I have. So a beautiful little pull on it, a ceramic pull, which I'm going to have to be careful with. And just this linen print, or linen-like print, but I do think it is linen. And it's got these gorgeous little robins. So I've bought this as my springtime bag because in March I am desperately looking for robins, because by that point I've had enough snow. And inside is a dark brown, sort of an animal print inside, or I guess under the feathers get that sort of downy look. And so this is what I picked up from Busy Pottering because it was just too adorable, and again, a nice quality. It's a little bit bigger, so for a shawl maybe in the spring, and who can resist beautiful robins in the spring. The next thing I'm going to share on brown paper packages are some gorgeous wintry progress keepers, and these are from the Corner of Craft, and I got some little stars and snowflakes. I love this beautiful blue. It's a beautiful blue shiny star. It looks black, but it's navy with a bit of iridescent to it. And I'm going to leave it in the package for now. And I also got another snowflake, and I'm sorry that the shadows are so bad right now. So another snowflake and a cute little mitten. And I wonder if this will ever focus. So beautiful white snowflake, and the mitten is blue with the iridescent white in there. So cute. And I was able to pick those up and get them sent my way to put on my winter projects, which I didn't want to go anything too Christmassy, but sort of wintry is a little bit better. Then you can use it all year round. A few weeks back, Gabby of Once Upon a Corgi put out some Christmas colorways, and I saw them on Etsy and could not resist. So I'm dreaming of a bunch of Christmas socks. And first off, peppermint mocha. So some beautiful pink, bright pink, light pink, and some brown, always a lovely combination. And so this is the Isaac base, because I am a sucker for Gabby's Isaac base, because of course I have Isaac as my son. And this is 100% Polworth is the yarn that's used, and just fun colors, and one needs reddish pink socks in their wardrobe for sure. And another type of sock that people need in their wardrobe, pink and green. So this is Christmas Like It's 1882, and it is pink and it is green, and they are together, and that makes me so happy. So I definitely need to make pink and green socks for myself, because I have pink socks and I have green socks, both my apple blossoms. One is pink, one is green. They need to get married and be a pair of socks. So Christmas Like It's 1882, and again, this is on the Isaac base, which is 100% superwash Polworth. The next thing I picked up was the Romantics, because I just loved this pink. I thought it was so, so pretty. And again, an Isaac base, and I've got some other colors that I picked up. I think I might put this with my head wig and do a shawl or some sort of accessory, so not socks. And then the final colorway I got, this one was mainly for Isaac, because I would like to make him a pair of socks, and he's also getting on my case about my other Once Upon a Corgi project, which is his all about that brioche, and he's, Mom, when are you going to finish that? And I said, well, maybe for Christmas. So I'm hoping to have it finished by Christmas, and I probably should. So that is on the Lemony Snicket, and also Once Upon a Corgi Isaac base, Lemony Snicket, and Nice Guys Finish Dead. So that will hopefully come out in the next week and a bit, and I'll be able to start some progress, and I've got some new progress keepers to stick on there too, and get that done for Isaac, so he's got a nice Christmas shawl. And these I'm hoping to make into some fun socks for one of the boys in my house, because there are 3 of them, and this is Aquaman. So just a fun one. And here, this is the boyfriend line, Aquaman. And it just couldn't resist the colors. So it's a problem. The next thing I'm going to share with you comes from Jane of Yarn Magpie. And a little bit of an aside, earlier in the week, Jane put up a photograph of 3 skeins of yarn. And originally she had wanted to call them Frosty, but they came out a little bit yellow. So when she was dyeing it, she sort of had the inspiration of a traditional snowman. So corn in the nose, coal in the eyes, white snowman, but it came out a little bit yellow. So her Instagram post basically said, we all know what yellow snow is. And so she put out a call for people to name the skeins of yarn. And my first thought was yellow snow, Frosty. Frosty drank the eggnog, and then maybe had a bit of an accident. Anyway, so I got a message saying, Tracy, I named the yarn Frosty Drank Eggnog. And so that was kind of a fun naming of yarn. What's really ironic is that I really don't like yellow yarn. If you've tuned in before, you know this. And I've named a yellow yarn. So, or a yarn that has a bit of yellow in it that, of course, inspired the name of the colorway. So Frosty Drank Eggnog. But I had ordered this a while back from Yarn Magpie. So Jane made this beautiful festive baubles kit. And I just loved this material. And earlier in the podcast, I talked about wanting to hang some Christmas bulbs from our oak tree up front. And they are this gorgeous blue color. So that Tiffany blue. And inside, because it's a kit, is a gorgeous skein of yarn. And there is going to be crinkling. This yarn deserves crinkling, but I am going to take it out of the bag because otherwise it doesn't do the full justice. And of course my lighting is not good today, but this beautiful, beautiful stellina. And this base is Jane's Barn Owl base, and it is called Festive Baubles. This colorway, it is 75% superwash merino, 10% nylon, and 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% gold stellina. And I'm not sure whether it is catching the light right now a little tiny bit. Not as much as I would like it to, of course, but it's always so difficult catching the stellina, but just beautiful and just such a lovely kit. It goes so nicely together. So super excited about this one, and I'm thinking probably socks, because one can never have enough Christmas socks, but who knows. I will, if I see something that goes with it that I think, oh, that's a perfect combo, then that's what I will do. But in the meantime, I will pop this back in the bag, in this bag, and then pop it back in this bag. And that is all I have today on brown paper packages. Now it's time for some bits and bobs, which is just some general chatter about what's going on in my life. And it was a busy week at work. On Wednesday we had an evening event, so I had to stay late. I did pop home for a little bit because I'm very close to work, which is fantastic, but I still had to go back, which makes it a little more challenging, and that made it just makes waking up on Thursday morning that much more difficult. So otherwise, it was a good week. We did start opening the Advent calendars on Friday, and just having a lot of fun with that. I'm glad there's no snow on the ground. The boys are busy as usual. Isaac has a show coming up mid-December, and Nathaniel and I have been listening to Harry Potter, and last night we were listening to The Prisoner of Azkaban as I was knitting away on Knit Vent 6, and Greg and Isaac had gone out for a little bit, and when they came back it was a little bit later. And why is he still up? Because we're listening to Harry Potter, drinking tea, and it was just a really nice way to spend a Saturday night. And there are just a few more weeks left until the holidays, Christmas holidays, and I am really looking forward to that. This morning I woke up, you know when you wake up and you're sort of in that delusional state, is it Monday? Is it Saturday? It was Sunday. I woke up just in that panic. What day is it? I'm getting to that point where it's been a long sort of fall, and you know, the days, they're getting shorter, and it does make for, you know, trying to get so many things done that you get a little bit worn out. So starting to feel a little bit worn out these days. But so why I've decided to do Vlogmas, I'm not sure. I am crazy, but I'm gonna give it a go. We'll see how it goes as well. What a very discombobulated bits and bobs. So anyway, that is my discombobulated bits and bobs. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. I hope that you've had a lovely chance to just sit down, drink your cup of tea, coffee, whatever libation, and that you've had a chance to work on your project of choice. If you are indulging in the Advent calendars that are just so abundant it seems, I hope that you're taking that time each day to sit down and enjoy them. And I hope that you have a lovely, calm week ahead as we go into what is usually crazy time in December. So have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week on the Comfy Red Couch. Bye. Little pouch needs to have some fun things put in it. First off, a lovely pink row counter, and of course some stitch markers. Always important to be able to keep track of pattern progress with some fluorescent washi tape. Hand cream, a definite necessity. Little pouch of tea for emergency use. A perfect little notions pouch.